According to The Guardian, the Associated Press said it was barred from sending a reporter to Tuesday's Oval Office executive order signing in an effort to punish the agency for its style guidance on upholding the use of the name of the Gulf of Mexico in lieu of Donald Trump's preferred name for the geographic landmark as the Gulf of America. AP's executive editor Julie Pace said in a statement, quote, "As a global news organization, the Associated Press informs billions of people around the world every day with factual, nonpartisan journalism. Today we were informed by the White House that if the AP did not align its editorial standards with President Donald Trump's executive order renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, AP would be barred from accessing an event in the Oval Office. This afternoon, AP's reporter was blocked from attending an executive order signing. It is alarming that the Trump administration would punish the AP for its independent journalism. Limiting our access to the Oval Office based on the content of AP's speech is not only severely impedes the public's access to independent news, it plainly violates the First Amendment." According to CNN, the White House Correspondents Association called the White House's action unacceptable. Quote, "The White House cannot dictate how news organizations report the news, nor should it penalize working journalists because it is unhappy with their editors' decisions. The move by the administration to bar a reporter from the Associated Press from an official event open to news coverage today is unacceptable," WHCA President Eugene Daniels said in a statement. President Trump has a long track record of denying press access to outlets of reporters he dislikes. During the campaign, Trump's team denied and revoked several reporters' credentials for election night over critical coverage. During the first term as president, Trump's White House revoked then CNN chief White House correspondent Jim Acosta's press pass after a contentious press conference. The White House later restored the pass after CNN filed a lawsuit. It's Nazi o'clock. Time to woke up.
The following moments may contain explicit language. Viewer discretion is advised.
According to Reuters, the first phase of the rapid-fire effort by Tesla CEO Elon Musk and President Donald Trump to cut waste from the government agencies appears to be driven more by an ideological assault on federal agencies long hated by conservatives than a good-faith effort to save taxpayer dollars, according to two veteran Republican budget experts. Trump says he is very proud of what he describes as a vital initiative to turn off the spigot of wasteful spending. With Musk standing behind him in the Oval Office, Trump signed an executive order on Tuesday broadening Doge's remit, telling government agencies to work with Doge to cut staff and limit hiring. Of the 15 agencies Musk's team has targeted so far, 9 were singled out for elimination or downsizing in Project 2025, a controversial 900-page fascist blueprint compiled by conservative think tanks to remake the U.S. government. The document claims many federal government agencies have been taken over by left-wing elites who use taxpayer dollars to push liberal agenda that is weaponized against conservative values. Trump distanced himself from the project during the 2024 election after an uproar of some of its more far-reaching proposals, but a number of the authors are now in his cabal. Douglas Holtz-Eakin, a former Republican director of the Congressional Budget Office, said the agencies Musk and Trump have targeted to date account for a tiny fraction of the overall federal budget, which is projected to reach $7 trillion this fiscal year, according to the CBO. Quote, "They are not going to go into agencies that are doing things they like. They are going into agencies they disagree with, Holtz-Eakin said, who has participated in a past tax spending negotiations in Congress. According to social media posts from Doge and Musk, the task force is seeking to identify federal contracts and spending on issues that don't align with Mr. Trump's policies, including DEI and foreign aid. Doge has now saved taxpayers over $1 billion in crazy DEI contracts, Musk wrote on January 30th, according to CBS News. Musk recognized there could be errors and acknowledged that, quote, some of the things that I say will be incorrect, referencing a false claim that the U.S. was planning to send tens of millions of dollars worth of condoms to Gaza. Quote, we are moving fast, so we will make mistakes, but we will fix the mistakes very quickly, Musk said. According to The Guardian, Musk confidently asserted, without offering any evidence, that some of the officials at the now gutted USAID had been taking kickbacks and that quite a few people in the government had managed to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they were in that position. The most startling claim centered on his insistence that the Doge team had been transparent about its activities as it had swept through the roughly 20 agencies seeking the removal of career officials who stood in his way and accessing sensitive data systems. Quote, we are actually trying to be as transparent as possible, Musk said, referencing to what Doge has posted on X. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization. Their website's blank, by the way. Asked about possible conflicts of interest as a result of Musk gutting agencies that either are investigating his companies for regulatory incompliance or that have contracts with his companies, such as the Defense Department, Musk suggested there were none. Quote, first of all, I'm not the one filing the contract. It's the people at SpaceX or something, said Musk, the chief founder, chief executive, chief engineer, and chair of SpaceX. This is hilarious MAGA Republican logic. Since the government has been taken over by liberal elites, the obvious solution is to get the richest man in the world to run rampant through our systems and get rid of anyone or anything that might be a check on that kind of power. No auditors, no inspectors general, no oversight of any kind. This is what you voted for. Why would you reelect a 34-time felon if you weren't willing to trust him implicitly? Look who's defunding the police. According to Reuters, the U.S. Justice Department has sharply stepped back its anti-corruption efforts under President Trump, from loosening the enforcement of laws meant to stop companies from bribing foreign officials to directing its prosecutors to drop a criminal bribery case against New York Mayor Eric Adams. It has disbarred an effort to enforce sanctions against Russian oligarchs and fired veteran corruption prosecutors who played a role in the department's 2 criminal cases against Trump during his years out of office. And pulling back from enforcing the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which bars companies from paying bribes to build business in foreign countries, and firing over a dozen independent government watchdogs, the administration is taking on laws and institutions put in place after the Watergate scandal that led to President Richard Nixon's 1974 resignation. According to Axios, the president's executive order pausing FCPA enforcement may act as a green light for corporate executives, both foreign and domestic, who have a high-risk appetite and few ethical scruples about bribes and other forms of corruption. In turn, that risks putting law-abiding corporations at a competitive disadvantage when it comes to procuring government contracts. Trump himself faced FCPA constraints when he attempted to build a hotel in Azerbaijan over a decade ago, per reporting from New Yorker's Adam Davidson. As he was finalizing the deal in 2012, Trump went on CNBC to complain that the FCPA was, quote, a horrible law and it should be changed. The anti-bribery law was previously used by the Department of Justice and financial regulators to win settlements totaling more than $1.5 billion from companies that are major suppliers for Tesla, the electric vehicle giant run by Trump's ally and largest donor, Elon Musk. This would be shameful if shame still existed. Without the guardrails and fear of accountability that inhibited Trump's first term, we are now witnessing bold-faced, balls-deep corruption on steroids. And with every federal and law enforcement agency, bureau, or council being dismantled or destroyed, and the legislative branch capitulating, it's solely up to the judicial branch of government to stop the madness. According to PBS News, a familiar pattern has emerged since President Trump returned to the White House. He makes a brash proposal, his opponents file a lawsuit, and the federal judge puts the plan on hold. It's happened with Trump's attempts to freeze certain federal funding, undermine birthright citizenship, and push out government workers. According to Forbes, Vice President J.D. Vance suggested Sunday courts aren't allowed to overrule President Trump and his executive orders after judges across the country have issued orders blocking Trump policies. On Sunday, Vance claimed on X, quote, judges aren't allowed to control the executive's legitimate power, after noting that judges can't tell a general how to conduct a military operation or command the attorney general in how to use her discretion as prosecutor. The post came after a federal judge blocked billionaire Elon Musk and his associates at the Department of Government Efficiency from accessing sensitive information at the Treasury Department. One of the multiple court rulings that have come out in recent weeks against the Trump cabal. Musk has also railed against the ruling against Doge and used it to claim there's corruption in the judicial branch, despite there being no evidence that there is any corruption involved in the court's ruling. Musk claimed the judge who issued the ruling should be impeached, and calling the order against him absolutely insane. Musk also shared posts complaining about the ruling, including one from Republican Utah Senator Mike Lee, claiming, quote, this has the feel of a coup, not a military coup, but a judicial one. According to the New York Times, a federal judge said on Monday that the White House had defied his order to release billions of dollars in federal grants, marking the first time a judge has expressly declared that the Trump cabal is disobeying a judicial mandate. The ruling by Judge John J. McConnell Jr. in Rhode Island Federal Court ordered administration officials to comply with what the judge called, quote, the plain text of a ruling he issued on January 29th. That order, he wrote, was clear and unambiguous, and there are no impediments to the defendant's compliance. The first line of the 14th Amendment is also clear and unambiguous. It says all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States. Nonetheless, Republicans say that radical left-wing corrupt judges are stopping Trump from unilaterally rewriting the Constitution. I'm old enough to remember when Trump refused to comply with the 61 judges who told him he lost the 2020 election and sicked a fucking coup on the goddamn Capitol. And that's the whole reason 77 million Americans turned traitor and why I hate half of you. Excuse me if I have a hard time believing the treasonous 34-time felon when he says he and his friends can just police themselves without the need of inspectors general, FBI agents, or judges in their way. So Tuesday it became official. All the crimes of Trump's first term and beyond are permanently swept under the rug and gotten away with. There is no justice, there is no God. According to ABC News, 2 weeks after the Department of Justice, now under new leadership, moved to dismiss their appeal of Trump's classified documents case, a circuit court formally dismissed the appeal of a case that once accused the president of mishandling some of the nation's most sensitive secrets. This dismissal marks the end of a series of federal criminal cases that once dogged President Trump's political future. Last summer, coincidentally, the first day of the Republican National Convention, wink wink, U.S. District Judge and future Supreme Court Justice Aileen Cannon, who Trump appointed to the bench during his first term, dismissed the indictments against Trump, bucking decades of legal precedent by finding that special counsel Jack Smith had been unconstitutionally appointed. The entire Aileen Cannon debacle was just an exercise in obvious gaslighting corruption. She put Trump's interests ahead of the law on at least 3 occasions, being overruled by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals twice, before dismissing the case entirely. That's about all the crooked bullshit I can stomach today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. This is not a debate. It's an intervention. If you speak the truth, you're always right. Peace.